Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just going to give you a quick preview of tonight's show. And let me just tell you something. I've just done a 20-minute video and a full proper rant. And the rant was that special. I'm not going to hear it. Right. When you look back and you think, I better go and have a look at this again. Let me tell you something. I was proper frothing. Now I've calmed down after the rant. I might actually put it up privately on the website or something, and people can go and have a look at me giving it large. But I wanted to say this, Chuck. Before I do, what I'm going to do is share this with you. And there's a few things I want to share and talk about, right? So on your screen, what you're seeing now, this is in Hertfordshire, in a place called Hertford, I believe, or Hertford. And it says, let me have that. Near this spot was held the first general synod of the English Church on 24th of September, 673 AD. 673 AD. An English church in the synod, Great Synod, 673 AD, right? Under the presidents of Theodore of Taurus, 7th Archbishop of the Canterbury, and first primate of all England. There were present also Bishop, I can't really read that part, of Anglia, Putter Bishop of Rochester, another name, Bishop of Essex, Bishop of Mercia, and Bishop of Northumbria. So they was all there. All the bishops was there. The main areas or parties of England, right? So the reason I'm showing you this is I just want to show you. Just think about England again. Think about how great we are as a nation and how long we've existed, and the fact that the British establishment are trying to completely iron us out. And there is a reason why I'm doing this. Here is a book. It is in my library, which the channel have bought, and there it is again. And I will be going through a couple of other little bits of this. The Reinvention of Magna Carta, 1216 to 1616, Sir John Baker. Now, understand something here, right? This geezer, Sir John Baker, and I'm sure he won't mind me referring to him as a geezer, was knighted for his services to the legal profession, right? He wrote this book. It's one of the best books I have ever read. And it gives you in great detail why it is that we bring back the Magna Carta at different parts of our history, and the fact that it can never, ever be erased, right? So again, what I'm going to do is go through this element. There are the contents. So I'm going to raise this up and you can see. And I just want to read this out to you. So, and I'm especially talking to the people that are involved with a group of people called Denounce the Deception. I'm also talking to a group of people that are involved with John Smith, who is complete and utter prick, right? I want you to understand what I'm saying, because them people are fucking up your country, and your country is England, and they are assisting the enemy, right? So what it says here, the legal character of the Magna Carta, this has been written by a legal historian who is knighted for his services, right? Now, he's not lying. He don't work for the BBC. He has actually said, and this is the main character element of this book, the legal character of the Magna Carta. I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm saying. Magna Carta is a statute. Magna Carta is a grant. Magna Carta is common law. Magna Carta is fundamental law. Magna Carta is the paramount statute and the exegesis of chapter 29, due process remedies. And then it goes into different elements of this. And obviously the book is a fantastic read. I recommend anyone and everyone who wants to know anything about this book or the Magna Carta should go and read it, right? You will get a full, complete education on the Magna Carta. What I'm showing you on the screen now It's the inside cover. Cambridge University Press. This is a Cambridge University and legal, lawful book coming from that particular element. So I just want you to know this isn't a bullshit book, right? Now, again, I'm going to show you it on the screen. There it is. Reinvention of Magna Carta 1216 to 1616. Why do we refer back to the Magna Carta? We refer back to it when we are under immense stress from these people. Now, when I say these people, I mean people who become tyrannous towards us. Now, John Baker wrote this book, I believe, in 2016. You've got a lot in there about the common law elements of this. Now, one of the paragraphs I'm going to read out, after further chapters exploring the legal profession's awareness and understanding of the Great Charter from the late medieval period up to the 16th century, the central chapters show how most of the constitutional issues which came eventually to be linked with the Magna Carta were initially addressed without drawing upon its assistance at all, right? It goes into a lot of detail, and I'm going to read out another part. Some have assumed its incandescence remained undimmed through the centuries. Others, that it sank into obscurity until it was rediscovered by Sir Edward Coke in the 1620s. Neither view is correct, but much of the story has been hidden away in legal manuscripts which no one reads. Well, I do read them. And many other people read them. The problem is you are not being educated the way you should be, that the last act of an English Parliament stated that you should be, that your rights should be expressed to you and told to you, and the state should be doing that, and it's not. It removed constitutional law, the Magna Carta, its significance, the Bill of Rights, etc., from the curriculum. In other words, you didn't want your children or your great-grandchildren to know anything about their rights of old, right? Because their rights of old are still their future rights, and which is what we keep pushing forward on. Now, just to let you know that some of these manuscripts, which are still law, are in Cambridge University. I'm not going to say any more than that, only that some of them were in Latin, never been transcribed before, that have now been transcribed. Gilbert, codename Gilbert, has been working on that and has been doing a fantastic job, right? The only thing I've got issues with anything that relates to this at the moment is to do with the UK column, right? I know you're all a lover of the UK column. I don't really give a fuck about the UK column. What I do give a fuck about is when they're conning people, yeah, that they are, you know, the truth tellers. They are not the truth tellers. They have not in any way or form giving you the true facts on the Constitution of England. They refuse to admit that the British do not have a constitution. They refuse to talk about the British as what it is, and that is a supranational state. The first supranational state that started off all the others, and that includes the European Union as a supranational state, the USSR as a supranational state, Yugoslavia as a supranational state, which consumes nation states and spits them out the other end, yeah, and tries to completely destroy and control the cultures of them countries and initiate their views as the elites. Now, the English have always stopped that via the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, and various other things, right? People need to understand what's going on here. Why am I bringing this up? You may well ask. So what I'm going to do now is show you one other element, right? So someone has sent me this morning. I'm going to show it on the screen, and the show tonight is going to be about this, yeah? It's really important that you all understand there's certain people fighting this fight from the right direction. One of them is called Stephen Todd. He has been done no favors whatsoever by the fucking idiots that have followed denounce the deception and the common law courts. By the way, the common law courts are acting unlawfully and they're allowed to continue to do it. John Smith should be nicked, arrested, whatever you want to describe it as, quite appropriately, yeah, for fraud. And there are certain other acts of Parliament that he should also be arrested under. One of them is for giving legal advice and selling legal advice on his website, right? COVID. Ex-footballer Bradley Orr fined for Magna Carta COVID breach. Let me tell you something, son. You are probably a fantastic footballer, but I'm telling you now, you know fuck all about the law, right? An ex-footballer who claimed the Magna Carta allowed him to keep his soft play centre open during COVID restrictions has been fined more than £4,500. Bradley Orr, who has played for Bristol City, QPR and Blackburn Rovers, was summoned to court after refusing to close Zurich D Play in Merseyside. Orr claimed the 800-year document meant COVID rules did not apply to him. But he was fined at Wirral Magistrates for contravening a prohibition notice. In written statements to the court, Merseyside Police said Orr Faulkner Street adhere to the former three-tier local restrictions, blah, 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 right? Then it goes into thing. And what he's actually saying, or what they are weirdly doing, is the Magna Carta signed in 1215 was a royal charter of rights designed to bring peace between the king and his barons, right? Or falsely claimed that Clause 61 meant that they could ignore laws that he deems unjust. Right. Let me just say this to you. I'm going to be as clear as fucking possible, right? Or falsely claimed that Clause 61 meant he could ignore the laws he deems unjust, right? That is a false claim. They're quite right to say that that is a false claim. Because Article 61 is fuck all to do with what we're going through now and what we're talking about. Article 61 is a clear way of impeaching the monarch, right? The Americans call it impeachment. They can impeach. There's an impeachment process for the President of the United States of America. And there is an impeachment process in this country that comes from the Magna Carta. It was still in play, and it was reintroduced in a way with the Bill of Rights of 1688, right? So quite rightly, this person is relying on Article 61, which is a complete and utter load of bollocks, right? He shouldn't be doing it, shouldn't have done it. And if that is what he's been told, he should go back to court and say mistake of fact and get the whole thing thrown out, right? None of those clauses also allow citizens to decide which laws should apply to them, right? Now, this again is the BBC, right? COVID lockdown, why Magna Carta won't exempt you from the rules, right? And there it goes into detail, shows you all these different people. There is the denounce the deception bollocks. There's the notice, I do not consent, etc. The hairdresser and the Magna Carta goes into detail in there. And right at the end here, it says, there's a little thing here. A lawyer has said, we rightly celebrate Magna Carta as an important part of the legal system, so it's understandable that people think that the full original text still has full legal standing, she says. But there is a difference, she knows. Between people who deliberately take a stand against laws passed by elites, which they think are unfair or not particularly clear, and those who have been swept along by legal advice from inaccurate sources found online. One of the things she's doing here is advocating for, in my opinion, the unlawful monopoly of what the bar has got now. And if you know the history of the bar, it actually started off, in other words, the Inns of Court started off from lay people like me in and in talking about a certain part of law, right? That's how it all started off. And then it morphed into a monopoly, right? A final piece of advice for those wanting to use Magna Carta as the go-to law to fight any grievance. Go to a lawyer, not Google. Most people can't go to a lawyer, darling, because they ain't got the fucking money to pay your fees, is the answer, right? And what you're doing now, you and your kind, yes, you and your kind, and that means these British fucking judges, right? The only way these people are going to learn, people, is not only do we stand on Parliament, we stand outside there, we go to the Royal Courts of Justice. Let's fucking go in there. Fucking thousands of us. Let's go into the Royal Courts of Justice and say that. Let's go to the Supreme Court. Go to the Supreme Court. Go through the front doors, everyone. 60,000, 70,000, 100,000, 200,000, a million people. Let's go to that place, the Supreme Court. And let's say, you fucking tell us why you're not standing up for the people, right? That's how you get something done. Not this. You want to go back to the peasants' revolt. What did they do? The people stood up until they took what was owing to them. There's only one way we're going to resolve this, and this is to remove the British entirely, right? There is no ifs or buts about that. You remove the British entirely because they are the supranational state that are causing this. Let me tell you something. The English gave the world the first charter on human fucking rights, and these bastards have took it away from us. Right. I am passionate about my country. I am passionate about the people of my country, men and women. And I don't give a fuck what colour you are, right? Now, you either start listening to proper people and understand what's going on here, right? Or we're going to be in the shit, and these people in the background denounce the deception, right? Who have attacked me in the past, no doubt will attack me again. Evidently, the leader is dead now, right? But let me tell you something. There was only one geezer who had a fucking proper brain out there that knew anything about the Magna Carta. That was John Hurst. He should be possibly given a knighthood. John Hurst was one of the founding members of the Magna Carta Society. He just happened to be a retired police officer that believed in his oath and his common law oath, right? He's now dead. He was the person that created and put into place, enacted, whatever you want to describe it as, Article 61. It's in force. Do you understand that? And that was about an impeaching the monarch. Do you understand that? It's not about, Article 61 is not about just grievances. Right, so what we're going to do now is I've shown you that. I'm gonna now go to the next element, which is these people. So the geezer on the screen there on the right is the one I believe now to be dead, right? I don't talk ill of the dead, or I try not to in any way because they're not here to defend themselves. But I'm telling you that denouncing deception has done more damage. They are on Facebook, they're doing this, so they're still going, they're doing what they're doing, right? The other person, right, that has done all this damage to us is the Scotsman, and he's a Scotsman called John Smith. Most of these people you're looking at on the screen now, the person on the right, there's another one I'll show you. This person on the screen now, they are what I would describe, this is the geezer there, practical lawful dissent. Again, these people are the people that are doing the damage. They are doing irreparable damage. There it is. We have decided. Time for action. There's the British flag for you, right? In your face. They are part of the coup. Now, what you're seeing is the other one here, and I'm just going to show it to you there. You see the one bang in the middle of your screen, hopefully, above the flags there, the rule of law. And there you have it, is that shield. Wherever you see that shield, call bullshit, right? Because them people don't know fuck all about what they're doing, and they're causing the problems. They're causing all of the problems. You've got a lawful rebellion sign just underneath there. What have you got? The British flag, right? These people are damaging everything about England. They seek to destroy England. They are socialists, right? And there is another geezer. Hopefully, I'll bring him up in a couple of minutes. But again, you've got another Article 61, practical application of the law, denounce of deception. That's on the screen there. I'm just showing you who and what it is. But before I go into more detail about that, and tonight's show is going to be about this, right? So, and you will probably hear me fucking rant like no other tonight. Like I say, I've just done a 20-minute video, and I thought I can't publish that. So what I'm going to do now is you need to understand where it's all coming from. And what I'm going to do is show you the other elements of it. Now, the reason why I'm so angry at this, right, is because they've only got to read books like this instead, and other books like, you know, go and get the actual books. This book's over 100 years old, right? Law and Customs of the Constitution. You've got barristers saying, oh, these laws are now, you know, listen, these laws still exist. We don't live in a country where if you don't use a law for 100 or 200 years, it's non-existent. If it's on the statute books, if it's part of our customs and our ancient customs and liberties, then we are using it. If it is a constitutional statute, it could not be used for 300 years if we don't want to use it. But if when we need to rely on it, we should. The problem we've got is that they have, and I'm talking about the British, have destroyed or seeking to destroy England. One way or the other, you need to go back and have a look at that, right? So again, I'm going to show you certain things from this book. The legal character of the Magna Carta, right? Magna Carta is a statute. These people don't believe in statutes, right? They absolutely don't believe in statutes. Let me tell you something now. There is something called repugnant law, right? But it's for a judge to look at it when we present our constitutional rights to any judge in any court in this nation of England, yeah? The constitutional judge should be looking at it and saying, well, actually, it's right, yeah? In these circumstances, it is a repugnant law. You've got someone now, there's different avenues, right, of getting through the courts. You've now got people being taken to court in the criminal courts, right? Now, the criminal legal system is different to the judicial system. And people really need to understand it. So we're going all through this. Let me just show you some of the elements because it is important, right? You've got a preface here, right? In the year 2015, witnessed one of the most remarkable historical anniversaries ever celebrated, stretching across continents and civilizations. Every scholar with an interest in Magna Carta was expected to say or write something about it, and much was learned about the events and in and around 1215. It was right, of course, to concentrate on 1215, since that was the occasion for anniversary and it was the beginning of all that followed. But the Charter of Runnymede itself had a short life. The timelessness and ubiquity of what came to represent can only be explained over a longer term, right? Because it's part of what we do, right? Hereford Cathedral, and it goes into different bits, but the elements of what it says, right? In fact, the law reports when deciphered. So let me just say this to you. Petition right have assumed inconsistence. The manuscripts are not written in English and their substantive content is often embedded in procedural context, which to the uninitiated can seem unfathomable. Leaving aside, however, the abbreviated hieroglyphs in which it was written, law French is not particularly difficult language compared with Latin. And in fact, the law reports, when deciphered, make more sense and contain far more information than the garbled and often unintelligible English reports of what the same lawyers were saying in the House of Commons, right? You've got to read this stuff, right? The barrier in scholarship is professional rather than linguistic. Lawyer historians who grapple with the faults and arguments of lawyers in the past are liable to be dismissed by their non-legal colleagues as internalists who accord too much weight to the doctrinal mysteries and arcane procedures of the legal world. There is no doubt that contingent remainders of in-depth, will never contempt on equal terms and kings and queens, right? There is so much that this book teaches you about the Magna Carta. There are hundreds of cases in this book where it shows you what the law is. Again, lots of references to your right to work. Lots of references to certain things that you cannot and cannot do. Restraint of trade, again, it comes up here almost entirely, right? The common pleas, the court system, every element of this. Who's took it all away from you? The British have. Liberty of the subject, there it is. Ordinary course of the law. The common law was now clear that no man could be prohibited from working at any lawful trade. There it is in this book, right? And there's a case that actually states that. We actually put these legal cases in court, right? The problem is the judges who have been handpicked by the British are seemingly ignoring this stuff, right? It's not to be ignored, people. So what's the next level to this? Not only do you have to go to Parliament, you have to literally take hundreds of thousands of us, and I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, storm the Supreme Court, storm the Royal Courts of Justice. There is no separation anymore. There is no if they wanted to be left alone by the people, yeah, then they should never have allowed this to happen. They should never have allowed the separation of powers to be brought together under one supranational state. Yeah. If the judiciary had any respect for our history and the people of this country, they would have stood up for the people, but they haven't. And that means they are the targets. They are the targets as well. And when I say target, I'm not talking about violence, yeah? But I am talking about the people saying, listen, you are connected to them, right? The separation of powers is gone now. And you are responsible for that. You didn't stand up for us. You allowed this to happen. You were the ones who never called repugnant law. And I'm telling you, we need to start now going into these places. And I mean en masse. One or two people going in there, you're going to get collared. I'm talking about thousands of people. Supreme Court, Royal Courts of Justice. Get there and do it, right? They're the people that have caused this. They've helped cause this. There is no separation of powers anymore. The state are overriding every single fundamental freedom you ever had and given to us by our ancestors to pass on to our children. And we, the underclass, the fucking working men and women of this country, the ones who create the fucking wealth. Let me tell you something, it's not all about trading fucking shares from the fucking city. Do you understand that? One way or the other, we are taking back this country of England. You need to get this and get this message quickly. Tonight, I'm going to go into this in detail about these fucking idiots that keep... I'm telling you now, you want to talk about controlled opposition, go and have a look at fucking denounce the deception. They're the people getting people banged up. And where is this emanating from? Where is it emanating from? Why do they allow it to continue? I'll tell you what they do. Because they're fucking British shills. That's exactly what's going on. And one way or the other, you need to fucking remember that. So there it is, people. You've just been told what the show's about tonight. I apologise for fucking going on a rant, but let me tell you something. I hate to see anyone in the dock in this country, and especially when I consider it they've done nothing wrong, right? There are statutes. Some statutes are perfectly fine, no issues with it at all. But the actual process of our law system and our laws are made have been fucked about by the British so much now, it hardly makes any sense, right? And I'm telling you now that those judges are now hand in glove with the MPs. And when I say hand in glove, neither will attack the other. Neither will say to the other, you're wrong in what you've done. Instead of having now a situation where you can go, we couldn't afford to go to judicial review. We can't afford to do it, right? There's no legal aid. They've pulled everything away from us, right? You haven't got legal professionals out there trained in the Constitution the way they used to be trained in the Constitution and examined on the Constitution. You've got to understand that, people, right? And what they've done now is they've created the method in which they then appoint, the same as they did in Nazi Germany, they appoint the British fucking judges. Some of these judges need to be strung up, right? And when I say strung up, I mean by due process, right? Honestly, go back in history and you will see the top judges of this country in the tower, yeah? Or worse, hung, drawn and quartered, right? Go and look at the history of how it all goes wrong. Why do you think the Nazis did that? Why do you think the Nazis took over the judiciary and then nothing that they did was unlawful? What you're doing now is living in a fascist society, leaning towards a communist society, overrun by fucking Marxists, and you allowed it to fucking happen, right? Now get off your fucking asses and take the fucking country back. Right, that's it. I'm telling you now, right? The judiciary are equally culpable for what's going on in this fucking country. The BBC needs to be taken down as soon as possible because they are the people that are seeking to destroy England. They are the media, the British Ofcom, yeah, all of that taking us down. We're seeing it all happen, people, right in before your eyes. All I'm saying is that's what you need to look at. So tonight I will be talking about it. I'm going to give you another glimpse of this book. Go out and fucking buy it. Read it. It is a fantastic read. It's an easy read. It's all in there. And again, Sir John Baker, knighted for his services to legal history. And yet, I'm talking bollocks. You tell me. That's it. Be lucky. See you tonight. And I will be going into more detail of that. See you later, or if